What's up, rockers all across the world? Finally, after some technology like difficulties, we're old men and we're figuring out how to work a bunch of shit. We're old. We're old. I might be like older than him, and he knows more than me, or vice versa. He might be the wise one. I'm the
I
young
don't
one.
know. Who knows, bro? These days, I don't know shit.
But I'm stoked to have him back on. You know, we've known each other for a long time. I think the last time we did one of these was back during the lockdown years, and that's Andrew Hagar. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? What's going on? It's good to be back.
We were talking a little bit on offline and it's kind of catching up because he lives in LA and I live in OC, even though technically, yeah, we're close, but reality, we're not that close.
No, that's called geographically undesirable in the dating world here in Southern California.
Or as we joked about,
Yeah,
going from one point of LA to another point of LA is 2 hours.
yeah, right. Yeah, 2 hours to stay in your own city is crazy, dude. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Unless it's like 2 in the morning between 5 in the morning, 2 and 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
That's your
right.
leeway.
Who wants to drive then? Yeah. Too many drunk drivers, man. That's crazy. It's a drunk driving city. There's so many people out there just doing wild stuff. So yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
But how you been, dude? Freaking like, how's the life been so far? Moving back down to LA. Everything's been popping for you?
It's been great. It's been an adjustment. I really love Northern California, where I was born and raised. Big outdoors guy, so a lot more stuff to do in that vein up there. But it's been nice to be back in Southern California. Obviously, the weather's great, and it's good to see a lot of my old friends. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a transition, but I'm happy to be back for sure.
Yeah, and I'm original NorCal as well. I know we've talked about before.
Mhm.
Elas, Gilroy, 408, the Hella County, California.
That's right. That's right.
It is.
408, 831, 405.
Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
they are
Yeah.
two different countries. NorCal and SoCal are
Hmm.
way two different countries. And it's
For
so,
sure.
and now it's like when I go back, I've been living down here for so long. Now when I go back, I'm like, oh wow, I feel different from you people.
You people. You gotta be careful with that, bro.
Not you people, bro. God.
No.
But it is. It's
That's
like
funny.
it feels like it's a whole and like when NorCal friends come down here, it's like whoa, it's just completely like they're like, wow, everyone's so dressed up nice, and I'm just like I'm slumming it.
Oh, that's so funny. Dude, I just took a trip to New York late 2025 with my lady to meet some of her extended family. And dude, just walking around the city, I was like, holy shit, I did not pack for this. Like people were dressed. You think people are dressed nice down here. It's like, yeah, you ain't been in New York. It's crazy. It's a different level of like fashion awareness. Like everybody, no matter where you go, has just got the craziest style. I felt like it was yeah, I was like, man, I gotta get I gotta get back in the game here.
But I feel
So
like at least in
I'm
New
slumming it,
York,
bro.
the culture and people are better.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, again, people in LA are probably gonna hate to hear this, but yeah, like people are just way more real in New York. Will tell you exactly what they think and feel, regardless of how it's gonna make you feel. And I love that. I feel like if people were like that in Southern California, especially LA, we wouldn't have such a bad rep, you know?
No, but it's like I didn't think I was going to fall in love with New York as much as I would. I would never live there just because that seems
Nah, yeah.
so chaotic all the time. Uh,
Agreed.
but everyone there was so nice. The food, the drinks, everyone. It was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to talk to you.
Yep. It's a great place to visit for sure. I'm like you. I don't know if I could ever live there just because it's so chaotic. My girl lived there for, over a decade and she loves it. But yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I feel like I'm more of like a small town, kind of mountain town kind of guy. So I don't know.
As you live in LA right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The
Fish out
concrete
of
jungle.
water, bro. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
firstly, dude, congrats on your like first show officially coming back, dude. Because like I remember the
Thank
last
you.
time, I think maybe the last show you were ever gonna do was San Francisco, right? And that's when you got sick. I remember I was there
Yeah, I think so.
I was there because Metallica was playing at the Chase Center for their anniversary, and
Hmm.
you were doing a show that weekend too. So I stayed there, and you were playing. I forgot where at, and then you texted me about getting sick, and you weren't feeling well and having to cancel the show and everything.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. That kicked off 2.5 years of me not being able to do much of anything, which was a whole crazy saga that I won't get too deep into. But yeah, it felt really good to get back out there and just play a show. Like, even it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. When you have that much of a layoff, you start to like question yourself a little bit. Um, and so I had a lot a lot of questions like do I still have it? Is this still something I want to do? Like the landscape of live music has changed so much in like the 3 years that I had been away. And it had been almost, I think, 6 years since I played an acoustic show because I was mostly playing shows with the band. So yeah, I was wondering how I was gonna feel. Like you're a competitor, you're a fighter. Like I took a long layoff between when I was fighting in college and then my last fight before I turned 30. And everything that I thought it was going to be was so different. Like I was different, but it was much different getting in there. How it felt to be in there, I felt like way more present. And there's something about that that's really scary, you know? And then doing the show again, it felt very similar to that. My expectations of what it was going to be, because when I first started as a live performer, I played mostly acoustic shows. And then I spent a really long time trying to develop a better presence within a band, which is totally different than being up there by yourself. And then when I went back to that show a few weeks ago, just as a solo acoustic artist, again, I felt like way more present. I feel like it used to be more of a blur and it went by so fast, it was over before I knew it. And now it's like I felt every second up there, It was very different, but it was great. It was a great feeling when I got off. It wasn't a perfect show. I made mistakes and I forgot to do things that I, that I had practiced and wanted to do, but at the end of the day, the audience was really stoked. The room was like almost sold out. It was packed, which it was at the Hotel Cafe's second stage, one of the last shows before they closed down for a while,
Oh
which
wow,
I
I
was
didn't even
really
know that was happening.
stoked to
Wow, no
do.
shit.
Yeah, I guess they're changing the venue. That's like such a historic place. So many great artists have come through there and developed themselves there, and it was a wonderful place to be a part of. But yeah, I guess they're moving, which is not amazing. I'm like, I'm gonna miss that place.
Dang,
But
it's like we're losing. I mean, depending on how long they're going to be transitioning to whatever new location you're doing, it's like we're losing
yeah,
venues left and right lately in the last couple of years.
it's crazy, man. That's a huge problem. And Live Nation swallowing up a lot of independent venues has been really, really bad for the live touring industry as well. But,
I'm sure
what
you
can
read
you do,
about
man?
it. Like in OC, we lost Chain Reaction just last month.
Yes.
That's like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's a staple. It's kind of like a hub. That's like that would be like Northern California losing the Catalyst.
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, that was where I saw like my first show ever, like my real first show. It
Yeah,
wasn't
so
Van Halen's.
it's there's no new venues popping up. Actually, I can't even think of anything new besides. Actually, there's one. Finally, I mean, it's taking forever, but there's one out in like Walnut called the Forge.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that place. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a new one finally. But like besides that, though, it's like there's no one replacing as they're going away in the last few years.
Yeah, it's really sad, man. I don't know. And again, it's like you look at it economically, it just doesn't make sense for most people to try to open a venue. It's so difficult to sustain. The business just isn't there. People aren't, I mean, people are turning up for shows, but yeah, I feel like the return just doesn't make sense for most people. And it sucks, man. It's a huge part of the live music ecosystem. So,
Which we'll go into that. We're going to talk about the live music portion of like traveling and the costs and like what the trends that's going on. But like hopping back on to you playing and like I think this is a really cool question to ask. And, as I play as well, but I've noticed from playing, like you said, the intimate show. So like at least on my perspective, do you feel if you have your close friends and family there, is it more intimidating than versus random people there?
that's a really great question because you would probably feel like it wouldn't be as intimidating when you have friends and family there that know you because they generally want your best interest. They have your best interest in mind. But I felt like a lot of pressure because people were going to be there. Like my girl was there. She had never seen me do an acoustic show. Um, So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody, but for me personally, I definitely was feeling the pressure because of the people that showed up, and I had a lot of friends that didn't tell me they were going to come that showed up, and I was like, oh shit, I heard some familiar voices. You can't see anyone at Hotel Cafe. It's like you're on stage and the lights are shining, and it's like pitch black in the crowd. So I heard some people in the crowd. I was like, dude, I recognize that voice. What the hell? And yeah, it was great. After the show was done, a bunch of people came up, and I was like, holy shit, man, I didn't expect that. So but yeah, for me personally, I think it adds a little more pressure. Like, I've been pretty fortunate to play opening for bigger artists, like playing bigger venues, and like it's just a mass of people you don't know. Obviously, you want to make a good first impression with these folks, but at the same time, it's like I don't know these people. They're either gonna love me or they're gonna hate me. Especially when you're opening for a band. Uh, Generally the consensus around the audience is like they don't really care about the opener. So yeah, I just want to make a good first impression. I'm not really worried about what they think that much. But yeah, friends and family, I care.
Yeah, I want to. I didn't think I was the only one. I'm like, oh, I had last year my aunt, and my cousins, and they all flew out to catch me. One of the bands I play with, Mickey Mick, we were opening up with Vixen, old 80s
Yeah, yeah,
band.
yeah.
And they
That's
love Vixen.
sick.
They love 80s rock. They wanted to come out. I'm like, oh fuck, my family's actually here, going to be watching me now. Oh shit. Now I feel a little more pressure.
Stakes are high, dude. Yeah. So you don't want to hear it from your auntie at Thanksgiving or whatever. Like, oh yeah, how's that band you're in? Like, yeah, I don't want to hear that shit, man. That's fun.
Oh, music wise, like how was your set? How did you feel? Like, was it, did you do some old bangers, mess around with some new stuff that you got toiling in your riff catalog?
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of the songs I played some throwback stuff because a lot of the stuff I was writing when I was in my like acoustic phase was really centered around what was happening in the world, and then now the same things are happening. They're just worse. So I felt like I owed it to myself to play some of those songs, but I didn't touch those songs in like 6 or 7 years. So I had to relearn everything. I was like and when I wrote a lot of those songs earlier in my career as a songwriter, I didn't really know what I was doing. So, I wasn't using like properly fretted or voiced chords on a lot of stuff. So I was like trying to figure out what I did when I wrote it. But yeah, no, I like ended up kind of rewriting some of the lyrics while I was rehearsing these songs. And it was a good affirmation that like I've gotten much better as a songwriter because the stuff that I used to be really stoked on, I was like, oh, I can do better than that. Like in the experiences I've had like on production, like writing for other people, there's always this idea that you have to beat the thing. So like you write a line, and you're like, oh, that's a great line, but let's beat it. Let's write something better. And so I was playing that game with my old stuff, and I was like, oh, I can do this so much better now. And it was so easy just to go in there and like make it better and make it more relevant, make it more relatable. And I was just like, oh wow, I do still have that thing, whatever that thing is that is required of a songwriter. It's like I still have that. So that's nice because I was worried. I was a little worried that maybe I lost it. So yeah.
Well, what created the itch, the spark, to want to hop back on there? Like, I know you, like you said, you brought up the health issues before, but like, what was the final like?
Mhm.
What? Fuck all these TikTokers. I'm showing them what it's done. Feeling to get back on stage.
Uh, it was yeah, it was more just for me, man. I feel like I have unfinished business. There's so many things I still want to do as an artist, and art is just like a self-expression. I don't feel like it's something that I want to do. It's something that I have to do. It's like a form of therapy. Writing, as cheesy and cliche as that probably fucking sounds. I got to get this stuff out. I feel much better after I write something that's like meaningful to me. So, yeah, I felt like I owed it to myself. I had unfinished business because I was really just starting to get traction with the band stuff um, when I got sick. So, you know, I needed to do it, and I've been working on things the last, especially like the last few months with my boy Greg. Shout out Greg Cash. Bass player, songwriter extraordinaire. The guy's awesome. But we've been in the studio working on some stuff. I've been writing some solo stuff as well, and just trying to get a bunch of stuff together to put out, yeah, a couple different projects. Hopefully, by summer I'll have at least a single out. So
Oh, dropping the heater. All right. Oh,
we'll
release when
see.
you just released. Damn.
No promises. No promises. Yeah,
But
yeah.
hell yeah, I mean
Uh,
it's great to hear like you've always been a creative person from, what was the last single you released, the Red Light Anthem, right? Was that the
Oh,
last one?
Red Light Appetite. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
put out Systematic Minds was the last thing. That was part of the Trev Lukather project that I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have that creative itch in you, and it's like especially now in the LA, essentially almost we could say music area, but we'll get into that of,
Mhm.
demographic, wanting to put finally, like, fuck, all right, my girlfriend's a huge successful violinist. I got to beat her now. No.
Yeah, no way. No, yeah, I would never try to. I mean, she's one of the best musicians I know, man. She has a master's from Juilliard. She's highly sought after even outside of the classical world, and has worked with like the heaviest of heavyweights in the music industry. Like there's no comparison, but it's she's a great person to bounce ideas off of because she's so authentic and she has a very uh decisive mind when it comes to what she likes and what she doesn't like. And I think she has incredible taste, like impeccable taste in music. So bouncing ideas off her, if she's like, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm not even going to fucking spend another 5 minutes, Yeah. So that's
Do
been
you,
great.
well,
But
I guess that's a really fun way to ask it. Do you think, like, we're in this age, it's pros and cons, this beautiful age where everyone can release music, but not
yeah.
everyone should. And
Yeah.
going off that bouncing back and forth, I feel like that's been gone now. People aren't doing that. They're just putting shit out without actually having a creative, say, folly back to them. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, let me reprocess that and then think about it.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to both. I mean, like people, if you want to release art, you should release art because it shouldn't be for anybody else. It should just be for you. I think my biggest problem with what the music industry and the creative landscape has become is that I don't think everyone that's releasing things or producing art is doing it for an authentic reason. I think, and I've said this before, but there's so many people that are just chasing this nebulous idea of fame that want the attention. And so they're trying to, you know, do whatever they can to to get a little bit more attention. And it maybe comes from a place of narcissism, it maybe comes from a place of trauma, I don't know. But it used to be that if you got famous, money came with that too, right? So many people were chasing the fame as a means of elevating their class or whatever you want to say, like class mobility. But like that time is gone. You can be the most infamous person on the internet now and be dead broke and not making money from it. But people still want that fame for some reason, that visibility. And obviously, I mean, anybody that's been following me for a minute probably knows how I feel about the concept of fame. But I don't think that it's the best thing to chase as a human being. But these days, it's on a whole different level because people can be famous for used to be 15 minutes, now it's 15 seconds. You know what I mean? So
Talk to
it's
us.
just different. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Perfect example. What the hell is she doing? What the hell is she doing now? She had a podcast that crashed and burned, and I haven't seen or heard anything from her. And I'm sure she's still out there. I'm sure she's still making content. I think Channel 5 has like an interview, like a Where Are They Now style interview. But it's like, dude, it used to be like 30 years, whatever, like 20, 30 years later, you'd see like a Where Are They Now interview of someone that used to be a
That was
celebrity. And
like
now
three
it's
months later.
literally like a year. Yeah, 3 months later. It's crazy. It's just like, what happened, man? The life cycle of everything is getting so much shorter all across media. So I don't know.
So you already kind of tapped into the next reservoir of topics I wanted to go into. It's like the LA music scene,
Mm,
you've been in the industry a long time. I've been traveling a lot and I've, known the Nashville, Austin, all these different New York, the different music hubs that are in, USA. And at one point, LA was the big go-to market for every musician to move to, and I feel like it still is for some reason, but it's not the same
Mhm.
scape as it was, I don't know, 10, even 20, obviously 50, 60 years ago, going back 70s and 80s. What's your view since moving back here? How is this LA scene, this animal different?
I think everything across the media landscape has become so decentralized. There's obviously still like a huge songwriting presence in Nashville, but like that's not where the best songwriters are. LA has always been like a capital of the music industry, but I think LA became more of like a TikToker and influencer town over the pandemic, and it's still very much that. Like a lot of the people who are trying to launch music careers here now are social media personalities first and foremost. They're not artists, they're not musicians. And as I said before, I think a lot of them are just trying to chase this nebulous idea of fame and not really trying to chase their own development as an artist. Um, that said, there are actually a lot of really cool emerging artists and producers here. I'm sure you're familiar with the band like Return to Dust,
Yeah.
which is like a project of Jim Kaufman, who's emerged as like a really great producer in kind of like the grunge alternative revival space. So it's been interesting to watch that kind of happen from the outside in. My project that I was working on with Greg and my friend Joey Ariema, before I got sick, we were doing kind of a more like 90s alternative thing. There was a completely separate project than what I was doing with Trev Lukather. And subsequently, in the 3 years since we've worked on all that stuff, like Trev himself has become a pretty powerful force in space here in LA, working with a lot of emerging artists. Jim Kaufman as well has become like a big name because of the success of Return to Dust. They have like a number 1 rock single, and I think they're on tour with Wolf, which is
I,
great. Like
I just
you're
saw them.
seeing,
Where did I see them with? Who are they opening for? Oh, I saw them with great British chaps. While She Sleeps, they were opening for these guys over at the Regent. Yeah, While She Sleeps.
nice.
Yeah, they were. I'm like blown away. First time I ever seen them. I've heard about them, but the first time I ever saw them live, I'm like, oh my God, these guys rip.
Yeah, they're young guys too, and I mean they're still like kind of cutting their teeth. I think in developing. I don't know them personally, but my boy Greg Cash has worked with them quite a bit, and he's got nothing but great things to say. Like bands like that give me hope that people are still doing this for the right reasons because it seems like those guys are artists and they do have something to say. And again, I don't know them personally, so maybe I'm wrong about that, but you know obviously outside of like these, I mean, whatever, the culture of music used to be so dominated by like MTV, and now it's obviously dominated by social media and the things you have to do to be successful on social media. I mean, I personally, I feel like they're a little bit humiliating and degrading. Like, I have no desire to make 400 lip syncing videos. You know what I'm talking about? But like, that's kind of what you have to do, I guess, sometimes. But anyways, back to the LA music scene. I do go to a lot of shows still, uh, and there are a lot of really good acts coming through here. I don't, I don't know of a huge number of like homegrown acts outside of like the kind of hardcore punk revival. There's a lot of really cool shit going on in LA in terms of like
Yeah, like the
that. Yeah,
uh, Sound of Fury Fest,
yeah,
like the hardcore revival down here is really freaking insane. Like out of
yeah. It's
nowhere,
kind of
last
crazy.
5 years, more hardcore bands, which is great. It's a different,
Yeah,
authentic, real music that let's kind of gotta like thanks to like you can say Knock Loose. Vaguely,
yeah,
I would vaguely say Turnstile because I don't really consider them hardcore, but like
yeah.
these popular bands of like now it's like larger than ever. I feel like in that sense, yeah,
For sure. I mean, hardcore has been a thing since we were kids. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like there were, I mean, depending on who you talk to, people say like some of the very first hardcore bands emerged in like the late '60s, which is crazy. Like I know Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys has a lot to say about that, but like one of my favorite bands from the Bay. But yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely something happening. A lot of what people refer to as hardcore these days is more like the kind of like new metal inspired version of hardcore. Like I'm more partial to the old school hardcore punk stuff,
The
but
East
like
Coast stuff.
maybe on yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, LA had a lot of really great, like you look at the Minutemen and Fear, and then
yeah,
obviously Dead Kennedys from the Bay. Like I really loved a lot of hardcore punk when I was younger, and I'm seeing more bands kind of go that direction. Not even really calling themselves like hardcore; they're more like proper punk bands.
yeah,
To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of what people are calling hardcore these days. I feel like a lot of the bands sound very similar. Obviously, Knocked Loose being like one of the biggest presences in that space. They're great. I would not want to be in a Knocked Loose pit. There's a lot of like crowd killers and shit in there that are just doing way too much for me personally because I'm
yeah,
older.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like what I've seen out of LA in terms of like this hardcore punk revival. And that's kind of more in line with the project that I've been working on too with my buddy Greg. It's more like, it's more inspired by that kind of stuff.
I
So,
feel like that's the hardest. So, kind of going back onto, the LA, like TikTokers, people are trying to be famous. At
yeah.
least my view, what I've noticed is LA doesn't really have a sound anymore. They don't have a thing. They don't
No.
have a niche. They love taking other sounds and trying to make it their authentic version, right? Like country,
Yeah.
rock, MGK. Like everyone's trying to make their own LA country now, right? And trying to look and make
True.
an authentic feel for something that's not authentic. And I feel
Yeah.
hardcore is the only thing right now they can't authenticate.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, like I was saying, there's
But
definitely like if you want to talk about like LA hardcore punk, they definitely had a sound. But yeah, now it's every ecosystem is like commingling now. All these different musical
yeah,
landscapes are kind of merging. So yeah, it's really hard to find like a geographically defined sound now,
yeah.
because everything's so decentralized.
Just more so for the sense, even like you're talking about back in the day, like the Black Flags and stuff. Like you can give it
Yeah.
to them, like the old school punk, hardcore, however you want to put it. Their fan base is so different. It's like they welcome insiders, but they don't welcome outsiders even virtually more. Like it's such a hard landscape to break through that they'll know you're not being real.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes both ways. I feel like within the hardcore community itself, there's this idea that it's incredibly inclusive, and it's always kind of been that way. But the other side of that is you have like a lot of people that are like really precious about it that are trying to gatekeep. I mean, even the conversation around a band like Turnstile, people have been like, is this hardcore? Is it not hardcore? What is it? Oh, they're pop, they're this, they're that. It's like, all right, whatever. They're a huge commercially successful band that
Yeah,
is introducing people to a community they probably never would have found without them. So whether or not people want to say Turnstile is hardcore or not, it's sending people down like the hardcore pipeline. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. Like designations are kind of dead now. Genres, everybody's blending all these different genres together. Uh, You know, I I I mean, I guess there are new genres that are emerging if you want to be really like a neckbeard about it. But like if you listen to somebody like you know what I mean? Like, but if you
No,
listen
this
to
is
something
techno melodic deathcore grinder, bro.
what I'm saying, like you gotta be a real like you probably have your own friggin' Discord channel or something if you're like trying to argue for like these little micro genres. But it's fine. Like I said, I would always want to be encouraging of people to explore the musical landscape and try to create something new because there are bands that are creating new sounds now still, but like I don't know. There's I think he's Swedish. I'm not 100% sure, but there's this band Boca Yout that I randomly stumbled upon on social media like maybe 6 or 8 months ago. Really interesting. It's like Afrobeat influenced, kind of like 90s grunge with maybe more like pop sensibilities in the songwriting, but it's really interesting. Music's always been a visual medium. and like the visuals this guy's doing are really cool. And then he got like a sign off from Viagra Boys. They're like, I think one of the coolest newer bands out there. And so I was like, damn, that's cool. Like, and this guy's doing something that's pretty unique, in my opinion. You know, it's familiar enough to people to be palatable, but it's also like very unique. It's very much his own thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm so down with people experimenting and trying to find a new sound. I think it's just really difficult because everything's already been done under the sun, you know?
And I think the like now, yes, now more than ever, that it's harder to break out as an artist, right? Without having to do,
Hmm.
we're going to talk about that next, this whole new social media platforming of shit. Um,
Yeah.
yes, it's harder more than ever to break out, but at the end of the day, it it comes down to you're becoming an artist not because you want to be a famous artist. You're becoming an artist because you have something you want to put out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like a lot of people, you know, this has always been the thing. Actors want to be musicians, musicians want to be actors. Like there's always been this cross pollination of that. And
Yeah.
now it's like every influencer wants to put out a single. You know,
Yeah.
we used to like, dude, do you remember when everyone collectively bullied Rebecca Black off of the internet? And now she's a huge successful pop star with music that people unironically like. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, the landscape has just changed so much, but it's never been easier for any type of influencer to try to get a career as a pop star, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, even guys like Joji, dude, like people forget Filthy Frank, but like Joji was a very successful YouTuber before he became a very successful artist, you know? And that's kind of like, again, like maybe I'm a fucking unk for even bringing that up, but like the landscape of culture is just moving so quickly now. People come, people go. It used to be, like I said, 15 minutes. Now it's 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So
And it's interesting how you brought up TikTokers and or actors and trying to make music. And I feel like it's kind of weird. There's the wrong ones get uplifted versus the ones that are kind of more low key. They're actually amazing, talented artists that you don't even know they released music. And they don't brag
yeah,
about it on their socials. They don't do any of that. And it's like, oh my God, why aren't you doing this, talking about this more? It's kind of like the anti-trend. Like we're gonna have the TikToker that we hate the least the most can be promoted the most.
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like gatekeeping has always been a thing in the music industry. Regardless of what people think, like most people have no idea what kind of things go on behind the scenes and how people get put on, really. You know, but that said, you know, anybody can hit it these days, but most of the people who are real artists, I feel like really don't want to go on and do the things you have to do in order to get traction on social media. Period. You know?
No, they want
Like
to release
I don't,
what they're
yeah.
feeling. They're
Yeah.
releasing what's out. Someone I'm just so shocked that no one's ever. I think Revolver did one like kind of release about him because he did a single with his kind of new like weird metal project that he did called Jamie Bauer from Stranger Things who played Vecna.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had
Yeah,
no idea.
he was in a couple bands coming out.
Yeah, him
Like
and his
long time ago
brother.
before he
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Him and his
Yeah.
brother had a great band called Counterfeit. I never knew about.
Yeah.
And then he's releasing. He was a songwriter forever as well. No idea. This guy's
Yeah.
incredibly talented. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, it's super crazy. Okay, so there's an incredible British artist, I think one of the best songwriters of this generation, this guy Sam Fender, who's been making really great music, like more pop sensibilities, you know, but like just as a songwriter, his lyricism, he's an incredible singer. You know, this guy's super talented. He got scouted out, I think God, what the hell is that guy's name? Another great British artist, Ben. Oh man, I forget his name. I'm totally blanking right now. Tremendous song called "Small Things." Anyways, that guy's manager found Sam Fender playing in a pub when he was like a young teenager, and they took years building him. I think as an actor on like BBC shows before they even let him release his first record. You know, like that used to be kind of how people did that. You needed to
Yeah,
get visibility before you would like release something because they didn't want this thing to just, you know, fail, just like die straight out the gate because nobody was paying attention to it. And so you need like that social credibility in a different way. And that now that's just shifted to like social media. It's like you're not, putting some person on a major BBC television show so that they can become an actor anymore. You're just like, oh, well, you need to just go viral a million times on social media, I guess. Whatever that means now.
So, so, well, what was I going to say? Um, what was I going to say? Um, kind of like on a like a positive side of all this stuff, like I guess with social media and marketing, now it's kind of like the best age more than ever. You can handle all of that. You can create your own fonts. You can create all your own things. You have the wheel, I guess, on that. You can do whatever you need to do it.
I think there's positives and negatives to that. You know, I
You're-
don't think that most artists want to be saddled with all the minutia of that. They just want to make art. And marketing is so like, oh man, yeah, it's like I went to business school for marketing, and I feel like everything I learned about marketing is wrong. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
that it's going now, it's just a completely different landscape. And yeah, I mean, again, like I keep referring to myself as like unk status or whatever because I'm older now, but it's like a lot of these younger kids have, it's like when we were growing up, our parents didn't know how to change the input on the TV. You know what I mean? There was a barrier between them and technology that we helped them out with. And
Yeah.
like, I'm definitely not a Luddite. Like, I'm still very much in whatever this current window of technology is. Like, I feel like I'm very well versed with a lot of this stuff, but I cannot keep up with these things. I'm also like very opposed to AI. So I'm not out there using ChatGPT or Claude or any of these other Suno. I have a lot of really negative opinions about Suno and what it's like enabled people to do because the bar for like artistry and mastery has just been lowering itself for like the last decade, and we've reached like a new level of low for the basement where people who otherwise could never ever think to make art can now just like plug some shit into Suno and make something that sounds like passable
Yeah.
to most of the
Yeah.
public,
Which I was
you
going to
know?
talk about some of this, the new AI music that people are putting out to make money out of
Yeah.
it, right? They're using it
Yeah.
as essentially funnels, right? This is the new way to
Yep.
funnel money, new drop ship, music drop ship.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. And people are doing that on YouTube all day long with like essentially completely AI run channels where they're just aggregating content that other people have produced and they're, making money passively that way. And it's like, yeah, you're going to now, if anyone who's listening to this right now is probably going to get an ad on Instagram in the next like 20 minutes for some guy that like figured out how to do the new drop shipping via like an AI channel. So
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I can't get behind any of that shit. So,
And the only pros that I can see from AI, because I've been messing around with it, I need to do my
mm,
research and like I've agreed, like that's 100% what happened, and people are using it to make the joke, Chat GPT lyrics. They're making write me
yeah,
a country western song so that I can copy and paste the lyrics and put some hooks and horrible melodies on it.
it's
But
crazy.
I do when understanding the tools, especially now, things are way more expensive than ever to start doing things
Yeah,
for the right artists. Now we have tools that you can self promote. Like, I don't have the money to buy a graphic designer. I don't know how to make my name look really cool and put it on something. Can you write me something on here so I can put it on my thing, or make this a transparent PNG logo so I can throw it on shit? You know,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
the small and ultimately the beautiful thing I think about the music industry in general is still regardless, the true authentic ones will outlast everything else.
Definitely. But like, how many true authentic ones also like die in obscurity? You know what I mean? Like, think about somebody like Jeff Buckley, pretty much universally regarded as like, you know, an incredible lyricist, incredible songwriter, incredible performer, all these things. Like, how many Jeff Buckleys are out there right now that don't want to use AI, that are not, like their parents aren't rich. Like, you know what I mean? It's like art is, especially music, is quickly becoming like a hobby of not even just upper middle class people, but like rich people. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And like so much of what's being said in the space of art is curated by like ultra rich people who probably don't have the most like authentic opinions about the world. They probably didn't really ever struggle or have to experience things from like a normal person's perspective. And I'm just like, again, with well, yeah, we don't need to get all into the release of like the Epstein files and things, but there's certainly a lot of shit in there that supports this idea that all of the narratives that have been pushed through popular culture were generally curated by ultra rich people and are a form of like propagandized information, right? So, like, a lot of what we've been fed has already been part of that. And now we're moving into a space where everything is so cost prohibitive that only ultra wealthy people are becoming artists, right? So all of this decentralized stuff that happens with AI is mostly just slop, right? Like you said, the best people are going to rise to the top, but I'm like, I don't even know that that's true anymore. It's not like it's not a democratic process, music. As much as people want to think it is, and AI and social media have given us the illusion that like the cream is rising to the top in a truly democratic process. I really don't believe that at
no,
all.
no, no. But
Like, I don't know. Maybe
no,
that's not a great positive outlook, but like that's how I feel, bro. I'm sorry. you know?
as we can see with some of the artists that I won't mention some names on there of people that are really trending right now, track backing
Yeah.
tracks in the age of, I need to have my computer to play a show. Um,
Yeah.
yes and no, and I think also it's a definitely a location base as well. I think mostly we're seeing so much from the California thing. I think California right now, Southern California, because Northern California honestly doesn't have that much of a music scene, sadly. Um, but Southern California, it's so much of this AI. I need to look and act like a famous musician to be a musician before actually being a musician.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I won't name names, but I know somebody that like desperately wanted to be an artist and got like fucking 50 tattoos in, the span of a few months so that they could look the part.
Yeah.
And now they're out there having a successful career, like good for them. Like again, if that's what you want to do it. I'm not going to sit here and say you can't do that. You can, however, I guess the end justifies the means in that respect. But I mean, of course, I have my feelings about that. I've always struggled with people who aren't authentic. And I just think that authenticity is the single most important thing now because it's so, I mean, I guess it's becoming easier and easier to fake authenticity,
Especially in LA.
especially in LA. But LA's always been smoke and mirrors, man. That's this city. This
Yeah.
city was built on smoke and mirrors.
It just now technology made it easier or somewhat easier.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
but this kind of goes into that trend where you're talking about like the money of people who can pay for doing this stuff. Now also going into
Yeah.
the show aspect of it, because for me, in the last few years, playing a lot of shows in LA's and seeing this culture of like really shows that only turn into like really it's about make me recording content to post on my Instagram versus an actual show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's more expensive than ever to tour, and the economics of it are not in your favor at any point. I mean, we're seeing like massive successful artists who have a legacy of successful touring canceling tours left and right because it just doesn't work anymore. And then you've got, Live Nation stepping in to buy up pretty much all of the remaining independent venues. They're making it even more cost prohibitive by their contracts. They're mandating essentially like a 360 deal for touring. They're going to take a piece of all your merch, 50% or more of all your merch. Like you're as a touring artist, it's never been harder to have a sustainable shot at, a good tour. And it's like, man, they're really pushing everyone deeper into this like social media rabbit hole. Like, if you want to get noticed, you got to make the content. You got to populate our systems with 1,000 videos of you doing the same friggin' chorus over and over again, right? That's what we were talking about earlier a little bit. It's like by the time the song actually comes out, you don't want to hear it because you've heard the chorus like 4,000 times. It's crazy, man. I just, yeah, the modern landscape of music it's always been corporate owned and corporate dominated, but there's, I guess, more transparency. It's less subtle, like everything else that's happening in the world right now. A lot of things are happening the same way they've been happening. They're just way less subtle about it.
And and also the LA is the culture capital feeding machine of pay to play. And
Oh yeah. Oof.
it's discouraging a lot of now other bands and artists. Like, dude, I don't want to have to pay to play, which I understand both. I've promoted my own
Mhm.
shows as well, and I
Yeah.
understand. But to the point of like, yes, a band needs that being able, you got to bring people with you. You got to have something for you, but at the same time, we can't milk these bands of everything and not give them a shot. I feel like the age of discovering the next artist at a show is not there anymore.
No, that's a really sad thing too. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to see a band that I love and I've gotten there early enough to catch like the last couple songs of like the opener and I was just like blown away. Like, "Oh my God, these guys are great. Who the hell are these guys? Never heard of these guys." That's the whole point. I mean, especially in LA, I think there's an epidemic of people who want to show up 15 minutes before the main act. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I just growing up, I went to so many shows where like I was so excited to get out. And again, we're old. Like this is a different world at this
Yeah,
point. But
yeah.
like, dude, I used to like spend like, oh, this awesome band I want to see is coming. I gotta like get there early and make sure I get a good spot up front. And I want to see every band because I'm gonna, learn so much about these cool new bands that I've never heard of otherwise. Obviously, now you can discover music in so many other different ways, but I do feel like algorithmically certain bands are pushed, and that there's a lot of great bands that are just falling between the cracks. And the only way that you would discover them previous to this is like going to a show and getting there early, and that's just people aren't generally doing that now. It seems like, at least maybe that's just the Los Angeles ecosystem. Again, I can't speak for how it is in the rest of the country. I'm not going to shows in
It
Chicago,
it
so
really is unless you're a Metallica when you have fans showing up, 3 hours before the line, right, to get in. Yeah, they're going to be there
yeah, yeah.
front of gate. But for
Right.
all these LA venues at Roxy or El Rey, Troubadour,
Hmm.
everyone's showing up for one specific person and leaving. No one's sticking around. No one's
Yeah.
caring to listen. And another term I'll say for LA, it's a very transactional based music industry.
Not just for the music industry. LA is just very transactional in
Transactional,
general.
yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And I think that's another discouraging thing for people and like they want to play shows, but like fuck, they can't afford it and they're not like cool, whiskey, you're gonna pay $300 to play at 4 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Oof. And who can show up to that? All the people working two or three jobs to pay their freaking rent. Like it's 4 p.m. on a Wednesday. Like who the hell's gonna go?
But it,
It's
it comes
crazy.
down, I don't do you feel like bands are even getting noticed from playing shows anymore? Is it just or it has to be TikTok, Instagram Reels? Do they have to do that? Is that what
I
happens?
think that, like you said, it's all about content. Like another one of my really uh, favorite newer bands, Bad Nerves. Great, just like power pop kind of punk project from the UK. They have such an incredible curated social media presence. But they have, I guess, someone close to them, like one of the band members' brothers or something, or siblings, I think does their social media. I'm not 100% sure about that. Again, like, you fact check me, I might be wrong as hell about this. But, but like they're always, everything they do, every show, it's like every day they're posting really cool clips from their show that just make you go, fuck, I want to be there. And I can't remember, the first time I saw them live, but I was like so blown away. They're like, they have the old school entertainer mentality where, like, a band, like another band in that ecosystem is like the Hives, like love them or hate them. Dude, those guys put on one of the best shows you'll see in your life because they grew up looking at a lot of these bands that came up in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and 90s that had a different level of showmanship, and they're just, world class entertainers. Bad Nerves are like that, and their social media presence, they're not doing lip sync videos. They're not like, doing these like bait and switch videos where they're using a viral video and then like cutting to like them doing something that was happening. But all these little tricks people have now. They're not doing any of that, man. They're literally just showing awesome live footage of them being a great band. And like I think that's how it should be. Like, fuck, man, I don't want to see all this other shit. I miss the days where like I didn't know so much about artists. You know what I mean? Like I miss the mystique, dude. When I
Yeah.
was a kid, when we were kids, yeah, there was a whole mystique about it. You're like, fuck, I don't know anything about this guy. This guy's so fucking cool. And then you find out that like, he's fucking lactose intolerant and has the same breakfast every day and all this shit. I'm like, I don't fucking know this. You know what I mean? Like especially like for like look at somebody like Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails. You know what I mean? Like that guy had so much mystique. You're like, oh, it's a fucking torture artist. And now you know everything about him, and it's just like, I mean, still great band, still love their music, but like, it's just different now. But check
Yeah.
out Bad Nerves, I'm telling
Again, it's the pros and cons of everything, and I do agree that the social media has killed off the authenticity of music and creating what could be something amazing. But at the same time, we do need it because it still goes back to like the MySpace days of things having to promote your music on. That
you.
was
Yeah.
the way, that was the first true digital way of marketing yourself and finding things. And
Oh yeah.
like something like Bad Nerves, finding an authentic way in an inauthentic realm to do it is the key.
Yeah. And that's a really rare thing. So when I see a band like that, I get stoked, because like they're touring with great people, they're playing all over the world. Like they clearly have, some element of the machine is pushing them. But that to me, that's like the right band, that's getting pushed. And you don't see that a lot these days, unfortunately. So when you do see it, I'm like, oh hell yeah, dude! Like love these guys. Another band, shout out Teen Mortgage, another band in that space that's like, real, like authentic garage, like street punk that is now getting pushed by a major label. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. That's somebody at the label's doing the right thing.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess this is a good way to like wrap it up and spin things into a positive direction. As we've been bashing on some hot topics. What are some
Apologies.
new music that it's giving you some like hope? I'm like, fuck yeah, these guys are doing, besides Bad Nerves, like new music and new things you're seeing that are like, damn, fuck yeah, this rips. It's like they're a light in this dark TikTok age.
Yeah, I mean, as I already mentioned, Teen Mortgage, Bad Nerves, uh, Boki Out was awesome. I love Health, dude. Health is like such great like gym music, cum metal, whatever, like pioneered by maybe bands like by
Yeah.
the Deftones, but like sad, horny, aggressive music. It's great. Yeah. But they're another band that's doing something I think wholly unique on social media in that like they're leaning into like really nerdy like meme culture, like Discord culture. They're bringing together a bunch of like disparate outlier social groups, and like they have one of the most like really inclusive fan bases I've seen in a long time. Like the hardcore community wishes they were as inclusive as like Health's fan base. You know what I mean? So, and they make great music to boot too. Like I love their shit. So yeah, I mean, the bands like that really give me a lot of hope. I also still love Viagra Boys. They're not that new at this point, but they're still fresh and doing really cool shit. And again, they're incredibly successful internationally. And I think, again, they're pretty authentic. It sounds like, from what I understand, like those guys were all just a bunch of like gutter punk speed freaks in Sweden. And that's what their music's about. It doesn't get much more authentic than that, dude.
It,
Shrimp
it's fun,
Tech.
and it's funny how it seems like you and I are both on what we call, I guess, like you can say it, an authentic trend. Like we're finding artists that we're gravitating towards that are more authentic than what's kind of like the curated, reels music right now,
Yeah,
right?
man.
So
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
like I'm more on in the last couple years, I've been drifting towards like there's been, obviously a huge spike in the pop country and the LA country
Yeah.
fan base of people making
Yeah.
this. But now I've
Yep.
been on more of a I want to find new authentic country artists, like or not so much new, but maybe they're just like they're hidden behind the dust right now, and they're like, "Fuck, you got to know about them." Like Paul Cawthon from Texas,
Oh,
uh,
he's amazing. Yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
killer dude, so nice.
That
Uh,
guy, I think he played at the Newport Folk Fest same year I did back in 2016. Yeah,
oh
him,
damn,
Margot Price, yeah, Texas Gentleman, bunch of really great, authentic, real country, like how outlaw country used to be. Those, yeah, those guys. Obviously, the king of that to me is like Sturgill Simpson, Giant
yeah,
Blue
yeah,
Skies.
yeah,
The
yeah,
new
yeah.
new new record is great. Yeah, Mutiny After Midnight, big fan. Love that guy. But there's some other great artists too. Josiah, Josiah and the Bonvilles, like
Yep,
he's
yeah,
emerged as like a hugely successful social media guy. But I mean, he's an incredible songwriter. He's killing it. Dude, shout out my boy Brandon Kruger, who used to play shows too. He's another guy that's doing great things. My boy Daniel Fornasa. If you like folk, acoustic, like country music, like dude, even look at like Hudson Freeman, man. Like that guy blew up like crazy. Him, Jesse Wells, like those guys are kind of alternative country royalty at this point.
Coulter
Like that's a
Wall, yeah.
space. Yeah, Coulter Wall. Yeah, again, like, and that guy lives it, bro. I think he's what up there in Calgary or something. You
Yeah,
know, what I mean, he's like a real cowboy. Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's
I
there's a
remember
whole community.
I remember it was like before I met my girlfriend, I met this girl and Coulter Wall was playing and she's like, "Oh, I love country, I'm a big country fan." I'm like, "Oh, hey, do you want to go see Coulter Wall in a couple weeks?" She's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? He's playing over in San Diego, like it's playing at Petco. You know who he is?" What?
Yeah, it's crazy. That guy's got the deepest voice, man. It's so crazy. I love that guy.
But then vice
But
versa, then like literally my Spotify split of going like, all right, cool. I'm on this outlaw authentic country kick, and then now some deep dive into like hardcore. Like there's a band out in Australia called Speed. They're fucking
yeah, oh yeah,
insane.
love Speed, dude. Yeah, they're sick.
Insane. So talented.
Yeah,
So I'm like, oh God, these guys are
yeah.
like, they're the next like big thing I'm seeing boom up right now, which rightfully so. That's hard to be one, a hardcore band to boom out, but also coming out of Australia.
There's a huge emerging hardcore scene coming out of Australia, though. Again, like I feel like, dude, over the last couple decades, so much incredible music has come out of Australia. Like especially around like the Melbourne scenes. I mean, back in like the kind of 2010s, like there was a huge like psych rock thing happening there with obviously bands like King Gizzard and shit coming out of there. But so many good artists come out of Australia, and maybe people aren't really paying attention to that. But I feel like Speed is huge internationally. Like they're on big festivals all over the place. Like they're by any metric extremely successful, and they seem to be extremely authentic as well, which is awesome. So yeah, no, there's hope for the music industry. It just might not be coming out of LA. You know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, I've heard Nashville's getting a lot of saturation right now as people are leaving
Yeah.
LA to go to Nashville, and that's going to happen, right? As the new music capitals. I know Austin's kind of like it's always been one, but now that's kind of like the new thing, the newer thing now of everyone going from Nashville to Austin. I think the most untapped music, like I'd say demographic, really is in New Orleans. The
Mm,
Louisiana blues rock is still there, live and well, and
yeah.
I think that's the next big tapped reservoir that's going to be hit.
Interesting. Yeah. Again, I maintain that like music has become so decentralized. I don't like, I love to see an actual scene emerging in any space, and there are still a lot of little like local music scenes that are thriving all across America. Whether or not they grow as part of like a larger musical movement, like we used to see with whatever the grunge thing or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's that remains to be seen. But like, I'm hopeful. Okay, again, maybe some people won't like this term, but like revolutionary optimism. When things are not great, you have to hope that they're going to create the conditions for something better. And that's what we're seeing in the music industry right now. everybody collectively is kind of sick and tired of all the bullshit that we've seen on social media. But I am extremely hopeful that that will create the conditions with which new, real music scenes can rise. New, awesome genres and bands can come out of these places, and hopefully the right ones, the real authentic ones, get elevated by the people in a somewhat democratic way. You know, I'm really hopeful of
And you just wrote the book of Andrew. That
that.
was the
Fuck,
preaching
man.
moment right there.
I mean, listen, man. What else do we have other than hope? You know, that's it, and that's across everything. So,
Yeah, we're hitting these new thresholds of new AI and everything, but like you said, we do have to be hopeful, and we just ultimately it just you just have to put out the music you want to put out,
yeah, exactly.
and
Which I'm gonna plug my future project that is not out yet,
that's what I was
and probably
gonna.
still won't be out by the time this interview drops. But no, man, I've been wanting to pop out some kind of like little psych garage punk thing, more similar to what I do with like Trevor William Church on the Hagen Altar stuff that I put out. And I've been honing in on that for the last few years. And I think that's finally going to come to fruition. So, yeah.
Dude,
But it'll happen when it happens.
I'm stoked here. I know you just from this alone, you got so much fucking. I got a lot of shit to let out. I'm gonna let you guys know. You have so much angst, and I can tell
Oh, yeah, man.
gonna come out.
I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if I should say thank you, but I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for recognizing that. Yeah. Yeah. There's a
Uh,
lot of angst. Always, dude.
so that's well, fuck. I look forward to hearing these freaking because they're gonna be bangers. We already know they're gonna be bangers. Um,
Thanks, man.
whether it be
Uh,
acoustically or maybe you're starting the next hardcore band here in LA. You don't know.
we'll see. We'll see.
You can call it the hot uh I don't know. The Hammers, maybe the Hammers. Oh, the Hoss. The Hoss. There
The
we
Hoss.
go.
The
The
Hoss.
Hoss. That's the band name. The Hoss.
Oh, that's
There
hilarious,
we
dude. I
go. I
love
can see
that.
that on the marquee right there. The Hoss.
The Hoss, dude. Somebody had to have done that already, man. That's crazy. If that hasn't been taken, someone's gonna see this right now and copyright or trademark that shit like immediately. So that's so funny.
Well, dude, it was fucking amazing. Amazing to catch up. Amazing to
Yeah, man.
deep dive. I knew our conversation was going to be thriving. We had so much shit to talk about because a lot of things are changing. Things keep changing, but like you said, we can just be hopeful. And I think regardless of the fact, rock music is always going to be thriving. Always will be.
Yeah. Always, dude. And it's even better when it's not front and center in the pop world because that's really pushing people to go past whatever we think of as the boundary, you know? So I think that it's going to be better than it's ever been. You know, just got to give it some time, and you might not hear the best music on social media, but it's out there. You just got to look for it. You
And
know?
honestly, the sometimes I found the best way to find new music, and I hate plugging Spotify, but when you do a Spotify
Yeah.
radio on for an artist, sometimes they plug you with some new people on that shuffle that you've never heard of.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's happened a few times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could do something similar on Apple Music or some of the other ones that aren't, funding the war machine. So I would encourage people to get off Spotify, but that's just my own personal opinion. So it's all good.
But again, it was great catching up, brother. And dude,
Yeah,
we
man.
have to do a follow up once the new music is ready to be released, finished, heard, and then talk about what's going on with that, dude.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, bro. I really appreciate it. As
Always.
always.
And when we meet up for a show or anything, or even maybe we'll even go to the Gina Carano fight and Ronda
Oh
Rousey.
yeah. Brother, that's crazy. I couldn't believe that. Yeah, shout out, dude, the homie Cynthia. She's shooting everything for Rhonda leading up to that. She's been giving me some juicy info about the training camp and stuff. So yeah, it'll be a fun one. I can't believe that's actually happening. It's kind of wild.
That's a fight we've been dreaming about. I've been dreaming out forever. I've been a Gina
Yeah,
fan
forever.
forever. It's like
Yep.
finding the Legends fight that like Dana White can never make happen.
This is what I'm saying, bro. It's crazy. Hell
um,
yeah.
but yeah, brother, take care, and we'll be catching up soon.
Thanks, man. You too. Sounds great.
And please, everyone, give him a follow on the social so you can keep up with any maybe secret pop-up shows you may be able to catch in LA and whenever he announces his new projects.
That's right. Andrew Hagar official on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, so that's all you get.
That's the only official place you can find him. He's officially official.
Yeah. Officially official, bro. That's right. Some guy stole Andrew Hagar and won't give it back, and it's like some troll account. So yeah. So I'm stuck with Andrew Hagar official.
Yeah, that's how you know it's official.
Yeah, that's right.
Later, brother.
Peace.